Hello, everyone. It is day something. I was able to find a place for my mother to go. I made it back to Tacoma, and she's safe, so I feel good about that. I am also safe. I slept at a homeless shelter, which was really a trip. First time, there were really nice people there, and I came in at like 3:30 in the morning, and there were all these people. There was like maybe 90 people in a room, probably 20 by 20, and I came in there with my dog, and nobody else had a dog, and it was late. I tried to charge my phone, and it was just a mess. But I decided to go to sleep, got a couple hours of sleep, and feeling actually really good and jazzed because I made it to see my cousin, Boom, who's sitting right there. If you see him, he's my cousin. He sees us now. He's doing his own thing. So maybe if I become super ballin', which I believe I will, it's kind of like, pretty obvious, for anybody who just does the work, it'll work. But I know that I should be putting it down, documenting it, making sure that people see it. Because if you don't see it, you're not going to get the fuller lesson, right? And that's how I always learn things good, or at least that's how I think that I learn things good. But in actuality, it's just a step. So now, thinking about, my situation and how that relates to lessons that I might have learned that would be helpful in this moment that's very fresh in my mind that I'm thinking about and I feel like is important to talk about would be, is I need to calm the fuck down. Straight up. Because that's where I need to be. That's what I know. Look at me right now. Shining. I'm not even there yet. Calm is much nicer. So, why do you want to be calm? Well, look at the difference in me right now. I'm intentionally trying to be calm, and it's working. What's my trick? I say, watch what it feels like. I try to experience it like an experiencer. Watch what it feels like to be calm. And I see the difference again. So, I think a lot of this is going to be important somehow and very weird because I notice a lot of very huge differences and fluctuations in my mood, in my abilities, in my ability to have a cohesive, specific, measurable data that makes sense. Because life is very difficult. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, we didn't realize in our struggle of humanity that your mood matters. Because it's like this. If you don't have everything perfect as it can possibly be in that moment, let's say, for example, then you're going to feel an inclination to want to be stressed or think or do something, anything. You will feel compelled, strong, overwhelming urge that overwhelms all logic to act. So, to act is the goal, but where's the destination? Because a boat with a, no sail doesn't really, I don't know the saying, but it's like you gotta go somewhere and fucking do things. Because regardless of how badass and meditative you get, speaking of one of them, I'm not badass at everything. I suck at tons of things. And that's why I brought up the whole my situation in the beginning of this video. Because everybody, look, clearly my situation sucks. But you know what? Just because I'm not stupid doesn't mean I don't make decisions that I would consider stupid. What do I mean by that? Well, take your pick, okay? But my situation right now is dire, so to speak. But what matters is, can my brain, can my mind, can my just... Oh, this is my friend Terry. Can you agree to be a video? I'm making a video for YouTube. Do you want to say hi?
Hi guys.
This is Terry, and Terry's awesome. And Terry's my cousin's wife, basically. Okay. So, right. Oh yes, thank you. Neurons and shit. Basically what I mean to say. So basically neurons and shit of it is this. Your brain works in a certain way. And that certain way happens to be, there's connections, you know, from different parts of your brain that do different things and have different jobs. And each one of those jobs is important. But they were accessible, meaning you can do something with them and make them go the way you want them to go, with thoughts, commitments, kind of like the attraction code, right? But the book, The Attraction Code, was actually based off a book written by Wallace D. Wattles called The Greatest Secret Never Told or Ever Told, or something to that effect. You know, that's clearly paraphrased. But the most important thing about that book, I thought, as reminded from Big Brandon Carter, check out his YouTube channel if you already have, and if you haven't, he's dope. Check him out at Brandon Carter. Look him up. He's no joke. Look up "Excuses Are for Bitches." That was my first encounter with his video, and it was a good video. It's like a motivational video. Anyway, he said, "Do all that can be done." Not Brandon Carter, Wallace D. Wattles. He said, after the whole book of the attraction code stuff, and shit, I shouldn't even have brought it up because it's so damn complicated. I didn't want to go into it, but I'm gonna real fast. As far as I understand, there's this thing in our brain, possibly in our brain, that possibly in some mystical fucking universe that is connected with every other part of life, and we feel everything that it feels, and I don't know. But that's not really the point. The point is, there is a certain way that our brains are set up to do things, right? And this is called a metaframe, all right? And a metaframe is an overarching paradigm. Like a great example that I heard from Tyler at Real Social Dynamics. You can look him up too. His videos are obsessively good to watch. And his whole team, which taught me most of this type of thing. I just try to summarize it in a way that makes sense and can be applied in universal things. Is that if you have, let's say, a window that you're looking out, and in that window is a parade in the background. Now you could choose to see the parade and how amazing it is, or you could choose to see the spot in the window. Maybe like there's a spot on my camera, which my last video turned out sucky, and that was why. Now you could notice the spot and say, look at the spot, and miss the whole parade. Or you can notice the parade and miss the spot. But I think the point is we should see both the parade and the spot. Just like, you got to win in life. Regardless of how meditative you can be. Thank you, cousin. My cousin, he brought me blankets. That's nice. you know, like regardless of how meditative you get, or how much enlightenment you get, or how badass you become, or how cool you are, or how much everybody thinks you're amazing and wants to fucking hang out with you, it doesn't matter as much as you have to decide for yourself what's important. You know, this is the only chance you have, you know, that we know of, to do something with these 27,000 days or so that we have to live. And I want to bring a freaking spotlight on these things because it's a paradigm, right? So back to metaframe. Overarching paradigm that dictates what your reticular activation system, which is basically a fancy way of saying that there are certain things that your brain remembers based on if you should be afraid of it and it can kill you or whatever, or if it is of value to you. Like, look at this. That's a value to me. That's dope. It's a plane, right? Clearly. It had the number 18 on it. You know, it was the favorite number of some douchebag that ripped me off for some money the last time. Just recently. You know? And if he sees me, I hope you know that I think you're a douchebag. You're a nice person, or no, because you're not a nice person, right? But that's something that I project onto him, right? So let's look at that. Let's take that apart. I'm a douchebag. You see? That's the point of this whole talk. Is what I just did there is called projection. What's projection? Projection is when there's something so emotionally painful about yourself that you can't deal with, so you project it out on somebody else and say, this person is a jerk, or whatever, right? And then, you know, maybe they're like, I'm not a jerk, or they're just like, dude, that's awesome, right? Whatever feedback they give you, that's the feedback that most people use to determine what's real and what's important and what is the way that things should be done. But we don't really know what is the way that things should be done. I mean, we kind of sort of know things like, you know, green lights go, red lights stop. That's pretty safe, you know. Don't steal shit from people. Don't lie to people. Be awesome, you know, be giving, but take care of yourself. All these things, right? Anyway, that's a metaframe. So reticular activation system involves things like this. There's a part of the brain called the right and left prefrontal cortexes. They're in the center of your brain, what they consider the 8 brain, which is the part that accesses life choices based upon whether you can basically have sex with it, you can eat it, it'll kill you. You are thinking that it's novel and weird. That's why people like weird shit, but only to a point. Like, nobody wants to be super weird. Like, it's cool and people think it's cool or whatever. It's better than being lame like everybody else, being a cog in the wheel of grayness that everybody seems to be locked into. It's nice to have some color, and that's cool, but you know what? Why you gotta shine so much that everybody can't see? You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that. You know, it's like there's this cool concept. Here's a metaframe, okay? This is fucking dope. So this, and then I'm gonna end it. Okay? There's this concept called the I, right? And the I is the space that we share, right? So there's you, and then there's me, and then there's the I, right? And right now, I, or me, happens to have the floor, meaning like the space that we share together. I'm talking, you're listening. It's through some kind of a media thing, so there's, you know, some kind of a transference there. But the bottom line is, you're taking your time to listen to this, and that's awesome, and I commend you for it, because I'm very long-winded. And excited. Too excited. So that's the lesson, I guess. Full circle. Don't be too excited, because it doesn't help. It's better to be even killed. And that's the same part of the brain. It's the right and left prefrontal cortex, which controls things that you're afraid of and things that you're super excited about. Fear and excitement. Same part of the brain. Left and right prefrontal cortexes, right? So that area of the brain is really big. Imagine like this big, like, part that's right there that specifies what part of the brain gets used, you know, to categorize this information that we are getting, right, in our consciousness. And this information is not simple by any means. It's encoded, right? Meaning there's all these other messages that it's actually meaning, but we only have what's called symbols and concepts to try to decipher linguistically with our neocortex, which is the top layer of our brain, which we process language, and the neurons are really big. They're the biggest. You can see them with the natural eye, right? Now, back to the right and left prefrontal cortex. Okay, so I notice in my life doing things that I try to be calm and fucked up things, or I try to be happy, or I try to be something other than less optimal. I find that when I can just be in the place, as the Chinese saying would go, wherever you go, let's say emotionally, way up and everything's amazing, all the way up there, or way down when everything's rough and terrible, you know, kind of like I feel today. Look, I see, okay, the amazing in this moment. So I'm making a fucking video. Do I sound sad? Okay, I'm fucking sad, but this is how I choose to, like, be sad. I want to be constructive, right? Like, I want to make some shit happen. Like, I believe I'm going to be awesome, and you guys are going to see me go from the bottom to the top. Not just me, but also Brian Spears. Well, Brian Spears is actually probably more up than, or not probably, he's more up than me. He's teaching jiu-jitsu, he's doing good, he's kicking butt. You guys saw the last video, he was in it. He's dope, super dope. And we're going to have all kinds of things going. We got seminars, and we got, like, books, and he's got books, and I've got my book almost done, and I'm going to try to break a lot of it down and make sense of it in some kind of a, you know, random grasping at straws, you know, kind of desperate, mad grasp. But I'm going to try to be calm, because otherwise it just won't work, and it's getting dark. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use basically that whole process that I just fucking explained the last 17 minutes of to say this. I got to step it up, folks. Okay? And there's nothing realer than your own life, right? Like, I fucked up. Like, maybe I'm somebody that can deal with it and is willing to put it out in front of everybody in the world, which I plan to tell them to come to my channel and watch. And you probably came to this channel to watch because I said come to my channel and watch, or something to that effect, right? Because I think I have something that's worth listening to. And I've read all these books and stuff, and everybody knows, looking at my videos, and I'm going to get these collaborations going. Starting tomorrow, me, Sunshine Witten, and Brian Spears are going to get collaborating onto the next move and start bringing some really, really high quality content and videos your way, and get these books out so that people can read them, and you can give us money if you'd like, which I certainly encourage. But look at all this free information first. And who did I learn that from? Real Social Dynamics. And that's RSD Nation at realsocialdynamics.com. That's realsocialdynamics.com. Buy all their tapes and programs. Now, do I get paid from them? No. I've already been paid with pimp tactics of being able to pimp myself into being something else that I really want to be, instead of just being some flea that's messing up life. So anyway, that's enough. This is almost a 20-minute video. That's about the time most people's attention span has to really listen in. So I'm already tired of hearing myself. So good night, good day. That's the document and the update for now. And we're going to get it cracking and see what's happening next. Peace.